Wuju style. Put me to the test. Just try to stop me. Is that all they've got? Been waiting for this.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm gonna show you how to play Wukong. Currently he is an S tier champion for top lane and in the jungle role. So his passive gives him bonus armor and health regen whenever he is in combat with enemy champions or jungle monsters, and this can be stacked up several times, so it is a champion that wants to stay in extended fights. Then you start off with your E level 1, so that's like a dash that can hit 3 people at once. And the good thing here is that Wukong is an AD champion, but your E deals magic damage, so his level 1 is really strong because people always take armor runes against him, so there's like some extra cheese damage that you get out of that E. It deals damage and then it also gives you a decent amount of attack speed, so his level 1 is something you should be looking to abuse as long as you can win that matchup. Then the Q is an empowered auto attack with bonus auto attack range, and this also shreds armor, and whenever you or your clone damages an enemy, then the cooldown of this ability will also be reduced. This is also the ability that you want to be maxing out. We're going for the invade right here. This is what I like to do a lot if I'm able to shove in the wave. Top lane and the enemy top lane is playing safe, then I just invade the enemy jungler. Try to be as annoying as possible. We lost the blue buff unfortunately because Renekton came, but we got the red buff and we got a kill, so that's the big win, and then we can just peace out. We can also look for a gank on the Echo. But this guy does play with Ignite, so we don't want to risk too much, so if he goes in on the Katarina right now, then we can look for a play, but otherwise, no. So we had to recall early on, not the best recall, because that's a big way top lane, but we are pretty low HP and we don't have any sustain, so just have to buy the items and then get back to lane. So because of the passive that gives you all of that armor, it is a champion that wants to play in AD matchups obviously, but also a champion that wants to stay in extended fights. Sinsao invading the Kha'Zix, even though I'm not in top lane. So if Renekton actually decided to like collapse right now, then Sinsao would have died. But he got pretty lucky, so that's cool. I mean, that's good for us, so. And now we have the W, which is what Wukong is known for. So when you place it, then you're going to place down a clone that can also auto attack enemies, and that clone will also proc your Q if you use it. The good thing here is that if you press your S, which means stop, it's going to look the exact same as if you press your W. So sometimes you can like trick the opponents into thinking use your W while you didn't. So there's a lot of mind games here with this champion that you can pull off as long as you get some experience on him. So Renekton is like one of the hardest matchups for Wukong. So honestly, this lane is more about surviving. But we got an early kill, so when you trade on Wukong, you go in with your E that deals magic damage. So it's like true damage early on in the game because people have armor against you. So that's why I'm telling you guys to abuse that level 1 as long as you win the matchup. You don't win it against something like a Jax, obviously, but in other matchups you might be able to, and that's why you should be trying to abuse it. You can poke with your Q, like out of range, because it gives you that bonus auto attack range, and that's going to hurt even more when you get that Shin. So just E on top of people, then you can use your clone to like block out important abilities, for example Renekton's W, and then you just Q them. Or you can also initiate the combo with a Q because it gives that armor shred, meaning that the rest of your damage is going to be increased. And a quick combo right there to finish him off with, so that's great, then we just keep pushing it out. Remember, your E gives you attack speed, so make sure that you use this on the tower as well. You cannot use it on the towers, but you can like use it on nearby enemy minions, and then you can use that bonus attack speed on the towers. And the Q also works on the tower. And it's an auto attack reset, so get one auto attack in first and then Q afterwards. And then we have this super annoying ultimate. So it's going to make him spin around and it's going to knock out people. also giving you bonus movement speed, and that damage it deals is also going to be based on target's maximum health, so it's great against bruisers and it's also great against tanks. And this is pretty much what makes Wukong strong in teamfights as well. And then you can recast this ability to do the same thing again, and that's kind of OP, but it is what it is. Also, something a lot of people don't know is that your E, the attack speed you get, is constantly getting refreshed while inside your ultimate. So you don't have to worry about that running out, because it will not. But this ultimate is essentially where Wukong comes online, where you look for those all-ins. But ideally you want the first mythic item. So I went for the Bramble Vest here. That's not something you buy very often. But I got this because they have a lot of healing, especially the Renekton. And this is pretty much what the ultimate does. And double knockup is actually really OP. But Riot says it's not, so yeah, cool I guess. But that gives you some really OP all-in potential. And this is how you want to use that W. You can use it to like dodge incoming abilities and damage, but also to get like a double Q off. That's especially OP when you push down for towers. Now the problem that you will have most of the time, or not most of the time, or maybe a lot of times when you start out with Wukong, is the mana. Because if you spam your abilities, you are going to run out of mana pretty fast compared to a lot of other champions. So what you can do if you're a new player, you can use Presence of Mind in the runes. That is going to help you out a ton. But as you get used to Wukong, then I suggest that you go back to Triumph. Because that healing is absolutely OP, and that will come in clutch when you go for those all-ins and you're both really low HP. That healing will help you out a lot. So we are getting pretty low HP and it's super risky to stay in lane right now, so we just have to peace out. Nothing else for us to do at the moment. Normally you get Sheen on your first recall, 700 gold. And then you just start perma-poking people with your Q, cause it procs it and it's going to hit for a ton. But I got the Bramble Vest here. It's not something you do very often, it's pretty rare actually, but against a very difficult matchup like a Renekton, and when they have a lot of 80 champions on that team who also heals, then Bramble Vest is pretty good. We got the Shin here, so now when he is within range, just perma spam that Q. Remember, the cooldown gets lowered when you attack enemies, so it's an ability that will end up being on a very low cooldown later on in the game. He recalled most likely, so just slow pushing here, stacking up a big wave, and then we can crash that under the tower, we can roam, or we can reset again. Also, one thing here I forgot to mention, guys, is that your clone, previously it was not possible to dash over walls with a clone, like when you press W, because there's like a short dash to it, but now you can. They fixed this like 3 or 4 patches ago, so that's a really convenient buff to have, because now you can actually dash over walls with that W. So you can chase people and you can also kite them and run away, so that's pretty cool to have. Remember, when you use your Q, you also have that Shin ready, because otherwise you're losing out on a lot of damage, and we don't want that. The reason Shin is so OP on Wukong is because of that Q. You get a lot of armor shred with a Q, and it's a ranged auto attack, so when using that Q, you're gonna outrange like most champions in the game, melee champions. You see, this champion does have super high all-in potential, so you should definitely be looking to abuse that, especially when you have Ignite and your ultimate up. Because double knockup is really difficult to run away from, and that's why I think that's really OP to have that available in a kit, but he does have it, so why not abuse it, right? So when you get to the towers, like if you're going to push it out and go for the plates, make sure that you use Q as an auto attack reset and then use the E on nearby minions to get that attack speed to push down the towers even faster. Went for the armor boots because there's 80 matchup, and also Renekton's W, like Empower W, is like 3 quick auto attacks, so that armor boots is really going to help out a lot here. But not only against the Renekton, also against the jungler and the AD carry. So the reason you can go for Legend Tenacity in the precision tree, the one that gives you a lot of tenacity, is because you don't have to buy Mercury Treads, because you already have all the tenacity that you need. And that allows you to go for armor boots almost every single game. That's like a basic trading combo, guys. E in, then W, and then Q the opponent, because you get double Qs off and the clone damage too, and then you can either disengage or you can keep chasing if you're winning the trade or if you're going to win the extended trade. Katarina needs to watch out. Renekton is going towards the bottom side, so I just had to focus on pushing this out. ASAP. Wave clear is not the best. He does not have a lot of AoE damage. Like, you have the ultimate, but you don't want to use that to clear out the wave with. So you pretty much only have your E and then that bonus attack speed. So wave clear is not the best, but his tower pushing is really strong. Using that Q to push it down, and then I also eat the tower or the minions, so I could get that attack speed on the tower. So you got some plates, so that's cool. That's how you want to punish roams. There's a gank coming in, so just hold out. And if people dash on top of you, they are gonna get knocked up. But it also gives you bonus movement speed, so it can also be used to escape with. Ideally, you do not want to do that. It's a lot better for engaging, but if you have no other way to escape, then just use it. When you do get the Divine Sundra, that's a big spike on Wukong. A lot of matchups where you're not able to kill them early on, you should be able to when you get the Divine Sundra. So that's why you can start going even more ham. Of course, even better when you do have the Ignite. Mid laner is toast, unfortunately. You can see a lot of damage when you have a stacked up Conqueror, and then we also get that bonus armor pen off with the Q, meaning that you're just going to straight up shred bruisers but also tanks. So your clone does not, it does not proc your E in that it cannot dash to it, but it still benefits from that attack speed. So that's another important thing when you trade with people or when you push down for towers, that you combine the W with your E and your Q. A lot of attack speed, and then it also procs that Q. Shut out the top lane wave, and then we can go into the river and check. Getting the fruit right here to get some mana back, because as I said, you will have some mana issues if you spam your abilities. Because you don't have any mana regen, which is quite unfortunate, but that's how it is. I actually messed up a little bit right here. I allowed him to like double dash away. So I should have been a bit closer to him, towards his side of the lane, because then even if he got the second dash off, then I would still hit him with the second ultimate, so we could like knock him up again. That's a mistake that made it so I did not get this free kill. That's of course something that you can work on, so you don't make that same mistake. But that is of course allowing us to get a lot of free damage off on this tower. And since that Q cooldown is going to be lowered every single time we hit an enemy, bam, that's going to be the free tower. And now we just have to look to disengage because we don't have any mana to fight this guy. And we're also pretty low. Remember, if you press S, meaning stop, it's going to look the exact same as if you press your W. So you can like mind game the opponent. It's not going to work all the time though, because if they have the sweep or something, then they can see you in that when you're invisible. So they do know when you use it, but it can help out you when you want to escape or like when you want to outplay the opponent. We finally got the Divine Sunderer. Showtime it is. That Q is going to hit like a truck right now because it is going to proc that empowered shield damage we have from the Divine Sunderer. So that's a lot of free damage and also armor pen that we get with the Divine Sunderer, but also magic pen that works with the E. Because the E is magic damage. And the Vayne just ran it down. Unfortunate. And they are going to finish off their casting, so that's great. Then we can just head back to the lane. That ultimate makes Wukong so strong in teamfights. So you want to be flanking and like try to be a disruptor. You're not playing assassin, you're playing a bruiser. So like try to be as annoying as possible on the front line and just knock everybody up. And if you can reach the AD carry, then of course you can assassinate them because you do have a lot of damage. Just keep pushing out the top lane. We're sitting on a pretty big gold bounty, so if somebody gets a kill on us, that's going to be 600 gold for free. Obviously do not want to overextend for no reason. Just pushing out the waves and then we can head into the enemy jungle, see if camps are up. If there are, then you should just take them and then reset. Right now there's some action going on in the bottom side, so I just have to rotate down. And then see if I can be of help. Oh man, that looks like that's going to be a really bad fight. Yikes. I don't know which summoners they use though. Well, that is pretty unfortunate that he still had the flash up. He was like 1 HP and he was somehow able to keep his flash up, so I got the kill but also ended up dying. Not really worth it because Renekton is pushing down the bottom lane, or top lane. So he's probably gonna take down the tower too. I actually made a mistake. I should have ult up because Nautilus has that Hextech flash, so you can see if he has a flash up or not. So that's a mistake of me to not ult up first before engaging, because then I would have known that his flash was up. And then I did not have to die because I could have went for the Samira instead. Just keep split pushing. He can do well in the side lane because he has mobility, he has great engage. He has great 1 versus 1 and he has great tower taking potential. But his team fighting is also really strong compared to a lot of other split pushers who are pretty weak in team fights. Well, there's a fight going on with the Vayne. Oh well, I won the kill, but she survived and got the kill, so that's all cool. We have a hyper scaling AD carry, so it doesn't matter that she's getting the kill. As long as she survives and gets fed. Then I am satisfied and we just head back bot lane and keep pushing it out because the dragon is about to spawn. And that Renekton is absolutely toast. There's a lot of damage you get from that ultimate as well, because it deals like bonus damage based on maximum health, and then when Renekton ults, he gets a lot more HP. I actually don't remember if Renekton gets like bonus health or it's like I actually don't think the ultimate works against Renekton's ultimate, because I think he gets like bonus HP. But it still helps when they build like a lot of HP items. So when people start getting tankier, that's why this ultimate becomes a lot better. And then when you play against tanks like Ornn, Malphite and stuff, then it helps out even more. There's a champion that can do well into AD bruisers, but also tanks, because he has some armor strength in his Q, magic damage on the C, and people will start building armor against him, so that's 3 damage, and then maximum health damage on his ultimate too. Great for shredding tanks. This is a really great engage. We took down the Nautilus. I wanted Samira too, but we only got Nautilus, that's all cool. But it's also a way you can engage is that you abuse that invisibility you get from your W. Like find a flanking position and then you just go in, ult them, and then when they try to like flash away, you E on top of them too, and then you recast your ultimate. In a team fight, that is going to be pretty devastating. When you can like hit this on multiple people and then your teammates follow up as well. And that gave us a chance to take down the Baron, and that is what we will use to close out the game with. That is a lot of damage from that AP Shaco. Unfortunately, he's going to survive with a little bit of HP. I think Renekton actually gets bonus health if I remembered right, and not maximum. Doesn't really matter though, because we are fed and so is our team, so this game is looking pretty good. The red buff is spawning soon, but I'm not going for that because we don't have enough people with us, and if they kill us then we're gonna waste the Baron, so I'm just gonna push out the bot lane and then I can go ahead and reset. And then we'll peace out. So if you want like the maximum damage on an enemy champion, try to like get the Q off first, because it gives you armor shred, and then you can use everything afterwards. But normally you have to like Q on top of them, because there's going to be like a distance for you to get close. Most of the time it's going to be like E and then auto attack and then Q. But maximum damage is like Q first and then auto attack and E. Or any damage that comes in after your Q. But your E is magic damage, so it doesn't really benefit from that armor pen, but your auto attacks do, and your ultimate does as well. And also your clone, of course, because that also deals damage, and that is not something you should be underestimating, especially not when you combine that with a Q. I thought that the Kha'Zix would be here, apparently not. Oh, he is indeed. I took this fight right here because we have a minion wave with us. Like Kha'Zix is pretty fat. There's a 2 versus 1, but we had the Baron and we had a minion wave with us. That means that Kha'Zix would not get that isolation damage. So that 1 versus 2 was pretty possible, and then we also had our teammates coming up. See, that Kha'Zix was sitting on 7 kills, so kill wise he had more kills than we did, but we still had the XP advantage, and then we also had the Baron. We just go ahead and push it out in the bot lane. Still, we don't have really good wave clear, unfortunately, but we can still push it out with the E and the Baroned up minions. Now we should just back off, cause I'm low HP. The Vayne is not here, since I was mid lane. It'd be a pretty bad idea for us to stay here. We're building towards the cleaver here. We got the Death Stance. That's something you usually buy after the Divine Sunderer, cause it gives you a lot of damage and it also makes you really tanky. Basically the most OP bruise item there is in the game right now. And then we're gonna get the cleaver afterwards for some more ability haste, but also that armor pen, tankiness and AD. That basically means that when we have that cleaver and we engage in the fight and hit multiple people with that ultimate, we're gonna shred them. Their cleaver is gonna absolutely shred them. We're just showing this blue buff. Okay, guess not. We were just showing the kill instead. I mean, that Kha'Zix must be pretty tilted because I invaded him several times now. And every single time he ended up dying. Just keep pushing out the top lane. They're pushing out the mid lane and trading, so we just keep pushing it out. Made sure that a cannon minion took out the other cannon minion. Trying to be as obnoxious as possibly we can, and then we just keep pushing it out. To see clone damage on the tower with your own damage, absolutely nuts. That was so close. I tried to get that kill before he's suspecting us that we are able to kill him, but at least got the ultimate out, so just keep pushing it because they're fighting mid lane. A jungler getting a double kill, OP. This time around he does not have the ultimate up. So this guy is going to disappear and we just keep pushing it out. Like, it can be really fun to play Wukong if you really like that kiting mechanic he has with his W and his ability to like engage in teamfights with his ultimate. But this was how to play Wukong. Do hope this was helpful. As always, thanks for watching guys, and see y'all in the next one.